First of all, we had to see how well the products were going to sell each other. So we thought we'd try and get a stylistic theme going between all the projects. So, like the video, it's got kind of like the gentleman, black and white, like that sort of thing going on, as does the poster. But then we decided to sell the actual digipack. We needed something fresh and new. So yeah, that's what we initially had to think about on how well the things would work too well together. So yeah, as I said, we decided to make two of the projects black and white, which is obviously the video and the poster. But this was to try and represent our relaunch of us new with our kind of modern ways, but in an old style. And it had that similar, well, actually exactly the same, apart from we added an effect, kind of hazy effect to the poster. First of all, to make it so it didn't look too similar. Second of all, to kind of add the hazy, drunky, sort of asleep at the wheel sort of feeling we were trying to put across. Yeah, but on the digipack, we went for something a bit different. We decided not to put too much colour into it again, which we thought was quite, new, because most of them were as eye-catching as you could be. But we decided to make it sepia in that lovely browny texture, except this decided wasn't too similar to the poster or the music video. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, this, but people have argued that it turned too dark and it wasn't at all eye-catching, and yeah, well that was kind of a negative to it. We were trying to have the whole kind of effect of Franz Ferdinand's Tonight, so because well, that whole project was done in a very similar way, whilst not being completely the same. But yeah, and so yeah, something else we had to kind of put across to make them all work together is the dress code we all went under. It was the whole smart looks, bad ideas sort of mentality we're trying to put across. So we're all in our waistcoats, our ties, our shirts. As you can see in all of them, in the inside of Digipack, it's very much the same. And that kind of went along with New Plan B video and album, the defamation of Strickland Banks. We were a bit worried though, because our target audience was young people, and if we're dressed in these shirts and ties, it's barely the casual sort of, well, the casual mentality of young people today. But we thought with the kind of new mod indie comeback which has been going through at the moment, you only have to look at the TV to see how top man designers are all smart ties, that's the thing. We just thought we'd take it one step above that, and this obviously relates to Gentleman Loser feel. Well, exactly, the Gentleman Loser in the line of the song we've covered, Midnight Cruiser. So we got our points across very clearly, whilst not being too far out of the sphere of interest of young people. Another thing which was similar between our projects was the font and the styles we used for it. Like if you look at the digipack and the poster, they've all got the same font. Yeah, they've all got the same thing, so it kind of links in with one another very well, and that's good. And then obviously we've got the whole style of it really.
It kind of keeps the theme going.
The whole black and white suits, ties, sort of thing. It's well because we didn't want to get too far into the theme of, well, alcohol and being over the top in our music video, and especially our digipack, but our poster did it perfectly because
he still fits in the Gentleman Loser.
It does, and it's good because it kind of shows that he's got no direction. Like the music video, there's no direction to it really. They're driving about playing gigs, but they've got no place to go. In the digipack, it's all very much we're on the streets. We don't have a direction. We're all just cruising around, and in the poster, it could almost be seen as he is asleep at the wheel of his life. Really, he's just got no direction. Finally, there's a feeling of ambiguity which kind of goes between our projects, which we quite like. Like, there's no definite storyline. This isn't a film. This isn't Avatar. There's no epic storyline going on. There's just kind of like a feeling. That's what it's all about, yeah? The music, the feeling,
yeah.
the focus of just, we're going somewhere, but we don't know where, you don't know where, but just like everything, our lives are in transience.
I believe that our media products both conform and challenge industry norms. One of the main conventions that our media products have is that they all share a strong theme. We learned that having a strong theme in the industry is a stylistic option because it allows the consumer to relate the products together, and it groups them together in this way. You know that one goes with another, and you might see a poster, and then if you see the CD that's similar, you can link them together, and you think, oh, that's from blah blah blah. I want to buy that. So that's a business decision more than anything. Another conformity that we've used is the idea of lip sync and band shots. We use these because it helps the consumer to associate themselves with the band, and it kind of humanises the band in a way, and they get to know they get to know who's playing in what roles and who does what. Although one of the strange things is that when we did actually do the lip sync shots, a normal thing would have been to use direct shots of the singer looking into the camera, whereas we haven't actually used any of that, which in a way is more of a challenge to the conventions. He's kind of not really paying attention. It's not the normal egotistic kind of lead singer feel that you get from the music video. Another challenge that we have is the fact that we've used the black and white filter. Now, normally, if this was an old video, it would suit very well. But the fact is, it's a contrast between a retro song and a retro kind of feel with a modern outlook and modern sort of morals and vibes. I'd say that I was mainly influenced to do this by Paul Binge's film Controls, which is a bio-documentary of the life and singer Ian Curtis. And again, like I said before, we use this in the video and we use it in the poster, which helps associate and creates the idea of the theme. Also, something else which is partly a challenge and partly a conformity is the idea of the storyline which we've told. We've got a sort of storyline which is it's the band going to a gig and they play it and it ends, but it's not linear. What happens is we have the start, and then the rest of the video is kind of like a montage of shots. It's all together. When they're put together, they kind of make sense. But if they were just played out in a linear form, it wouldn't make any sense. This is supported by Tordorov's theory that there is a situation to begin with, and then something happens, and that changes the narrative. Another specific shot which I'd like to mention is the one that we finish on, where Mitchell's just sat there and he's clapping the band, and we thought that we'd use that because that is a sort of a parody of, because when we've seen other examples of live music videos, there's usually a giant crowd and they're all cheering and clapping them and well done, whereas we thought we'd take that and we'd turn it around and we just had this one kind of person clapping, which is kind of fits the style, because the representation of our video is that these aren't kind of giant mega rock stars, which is a norm in the industry. They're quite they're failed, they're beaten down, they're kind of gentlemen losers, as we use the play, and that's reflected in their clothing, it's reflected in the locations that we've used, it's reflected in the type of shots, it's reflected in the props. And like I said, it's kind of, it's the opposite of this sort of Aerosmith, Bon Jovi-ified kind of, really, pumped up lifestyle and very glamorous. It's the opposite, the darker side to rock and roll. Oh yeah, and like I've mentioned before, we've decided to kind of go for the Sex Pistols, Kurt Cobain look as well, of the non-important lead singer. We're trying to go for more equality in the band, and the fact that it's not about Stephen here, it's about other people and the rest of the band.